Hello, hello, hello. And if you are listening to the sound of my voice, that can only mean one thing. This is the ETBU Coaches Show on a wonderful Tuesday morning with none other than head softball coach Janae Shirley. And we got lots to get to because this is a big week for you guys. ASC tournament is about to get underway, and you guys are going to be the host for this year's conference. And before we get into that, though, you had a very hard-fought series against McMurray. Now, you came away with the sweep, but it was a little bit more of a challenging type of series than expected. So just kind of talk to me about, your overall thoughts on that series. And by the way, B. Lotta getting 11 strikeouts in game number 1. So that is another thing that we can get into. But just kind of talk about, as a coach, what you saw out there from your team in that series against the Warhawks.
Yeah, well, the first two games, obviously, we did a nice job. I feel like B had two phenomenal performances. She pitched both those games that day. In the second game, pitched one with, a tweaked leg. And so the performance that she put out, not being at her best physically, was pretty impressive. So we were definitely pleased with that. Day two was a little bit interesting because it was kind of who was going to overcome the circumstances. The wind was blowing pretty bad. And so offensively, I just feel like we didn't do a good job of really getting on top of the ball and, squaring it up. We were popping the ball up a lot. And, their pitcher does a nice job. She, spins the ball and moves it around. And so she kind of kept us off guard, and we weren't able to really capitalize off of that. And just kind of be with her situation. She is one of our better hitters too. We chose not to use her in the lineup or to pitch her that day. And so, just figuring out kind of pieces of the puzzle, how they look differently when you take one of those factors out of it, was a little bit of work for us. But the girls did a great job of, continuing to battle back when runs were scored, and ultimately came on top with that game. And I think any games like that come close to the end, they prepare them for championship season, because that's how all the games are going to be. And so, a little bit disappointed with our performance, but not disappointed with our fight. So I think that helped us kind of lead into this tournament.
Absolutely, and actually you jumped on top of something that I was going to kind of allude to, just the fact that with the ASC tournament just a few days away now, games like that, hard-fought performances on the field can really prepare your team for, the amount of teams that they're going to face, the types of teams they're going to face. So every game is not going to be completely one-sided. So with that in mind, how do you kind of, talk to your team or prepare your team when you have circumstances like you had on Saturday with the wind and you kind of have to deal with the elements of nature there? What are some of the things that you're telling your team?
Well, it's always whoever can overcome, different things happening or different circumstances or changes that usually ends up on top. But, our focus always stays the same, and aren't really approaching this weekend any different than we have any other game. It's to play our best ball, and, we take it one game at a time and see if we can put together our best performance at, first game, second game, and see it all the way through. And that's going to be our goal, and hopefully the girls will rise to the challenge. For a lot of them, this is their first college championship tournament, and it's going to be a new experience for them. But, I feel like we have been in enough tough games that they are prepared for that, and I'm excited to see how they match up.
I was going to say also that, we forget that you only had two seniors. You only have two seniors that are graduating this year. Everyone else is pretty much, young and just really getting a feel for the college level game. So as we approach the ASC tournament, is there a certain, is there a certain philosophy that you have to have, a certain mindset that you as a coach has to implement for your team, coming into the tournament with them being, so young overall?
Well, I think we've done that with every series, with every game that we approach, and with our mindset throughout the entire year. We've been very fortunate. A lot of the freshmen we have this year, they are just competitors, and they don't play like freshmen, and hopefully that is something that is, not something that they've been faking this whole time. I don't think it is. They have definitely risen to the challenge and put up big games against big people, and so, I think that's something that has benefited us this year, which we weren't sure what to expect, and that's definitely been a positive thing for us, and they'll continue to grow every game, and every game they'll continue to get better, and so hopefully this weekend they'll continue to do that and be sharp, and being at home is something special. It's something different. You have the advantage of just being here around your people on your field where you're comfortable, and we're excited for that and just the opportunity to do that, and we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and when you kind of look back on the regular season as a whole, obviously, still more games to be played, but just looking at the season as a whole from your perspective, what's the biggest takeaway you have from your team, every series that you've faced to this point? What's the biggest thing you've learned from your team?
Well, I think going into the season as a coaching staff, we knew we had a lot of growth that needed to take place over this year, because we did. We had so many new people to our program, new freshmen, new to college, that we weren't sure how quickly all that transition was going to occur. A lot of times it takes a year or 2 years to kind of make that transition, and the positive thing with this group is they have been excited about learning and excited about buying in, and it's made the transition a little bit quicker, and they've been ready to compete, and they challenge each other, but they really love each other, and so that's been such a positive thing for our program. And so I've been impressed with this group, and I'm excited to see really how high their ceiling is.
Absolutely, and before we go here, as like we said, tournament is underway. You have sort of a little bit of a bye. You're not playing on Thursday. We'll take to the field on Friday. So being the home team, is that kind of an advantage, or does it really matter in the grand scheme of things with the ultimate goal, winning a championship, going to the national level to play? How important is it to kind of have that home field advantage?
I mean, I think, again, the comfort level is just something that these girls, they've played on this field and practiced on it every single day, and so that's definitely a positive, and I think it provides something that the other teams won't have here. Along with ETBU does a really great job of supporting and getting excited for these kids, and I don't expect it to be any different this weekend. And so, there's so many positive things with that we're just excited to give them opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Coach. And once again, you can stay up to date with all things ETBU sports related at goetbutigers.com, or follow us on social media at goetbutigers. The ASC tournament for softball will be underway starting on Thursday, and we'll go through Saturday. And be sure to stay up to date on the tournament for ETBU baseball. They're traveling to Concordia, Texas this week as well. Once again, Mark T. Robinson, head coach, Janae, Shirley. We'll be back on the ETBU Coaches Show in just a moment. Thanks for supporting ETBU Athletics.